We're leaving 30 minutes earlier today because the hot temperatures have arrived. The low 90s, about 33 C for high. So we're leaving at 7. I loaded the ride with the time change. Those who can read will get it. A lot of people skim stuff. If you miss it, you're gonna miss the group. So get some clips for you all. Should be interesting.
On this ride, I left Northampton, rode into the Woodlands, picked up the group at the Alden Village Center. We headed out on Fish Creek Boulevard. That's all off camera. We went over the overpass and then took 2854 East, Old 105 Road to 105. Sap Road took us into the neighborhood. By the time we got to the lake, we crossed the lake, and after that we turned right on Mount Pleasant. I turned on the camera. We went through the forest, Bailey Grove, back to 1097 into Montgomery. We stopped at Taco Corner, then continued to Spring Branch Road, came back through Grand Lake Estates. It was very hot. It was like one of the hotter days we've had so far, and we had challenges with the heat, acclimating. It takes a few weeks to get used to it. We started the ride 30 minutes earlier. We left at 7 a.m. versus 7:30. But I think you'll like the clips we put together for you. We're on the open road. We're on the FM 1097, headed west in Montgomery County, Texas. We just crossed the lake a little while ago. We're heading towards Mount Pleasant. We're going to take Mount Pleasant to go north. The shoulder's kind of narrow. The road's a little busy, but the main way back, we had gone through Conroe, cut through the neighborhood with a 15% climb. So we used that. We came across the lake. There's a lot of construction there still, but it was just for some variety. So once we get back close to Montgomery, we're going to turn right and go into the forest. It's quieter there. The road kicks up here is about 6%. I stay a little to Laura's right so I can keep my rhythm. As you can see, it says 29 Celsius. It's about 85 degrees. It feels warmer than that. It's very humid. This time of year, the air comes off of the Gulf of Mexico, and it's just warm and thick. So we're still not used to it, most of us. And, probably about 10 or 15 kilometers, we start to show some effects of the lack of acclimatization to the heat. You have to acclimate over time. It takes several weeks of riding. I've been riding during the week, shorter rides to get used to being out in the heat. So you just have to drink a lot more to kind of keep your body, your core temperature down. There's Laura here, and then that's Paulie Longa is in front of, what's his name? For some reason, I'm going to lose Kenny. Right in front of Laura is Kenny. The shoulder's narrow, but it's relatively clean, so we kind of ride it. The drivers move over a little bit as they go by. We have to use this to come across the lake. We went to Lake Conroe. Shortly, we'll get on some quieter roads where we can spread out. I back off a little bit because the speed's picked up, just to leave a little bit of gap. kicks up here. If you look at the inset map on the right, the top right corner, this is where the road you can go. If you go straight, you'll go to Taco Corner. We're taking the longer way to get there today. So we're going into the forest. We're going to turn right. If you went left, it would take you to Taco Corner. It'd probably be about 10 kilometers to get there. We'll turn right here. This is called Mount Pleasant Road. We've got the wind behind us in this direction, and the entire morning, it just felt like we were riding in a steam bath. It's just very, very muggy. What you have to do is to make sure you have been drinking enough fluid off the bike as well. We have the wind behind us, that's why the speeds are high, plus this section here is slightly downhill to flat. It's got a lot of little ruts and cracks and crevices, so you got to be reading the road. This piece of the paper here is like chip seal. It's going to start going up slightly for about another 2 kilometers. Kind of a false flat. 3%. I didn't realize it was that much. I'm in a moderate gear. I'm probably in a 53.19 or something like that. Just kind of rolling it. Just really taking it easy with it. You got to kind of ride for what your legs want to do. There are times when your legs want to spin a high cadence. There are times when your legs want to push. You got to be able to do all of it, so you can control your energy expenditure. Like minus 0.2 and it's flipping on the gradient. It's going up. This is a false flat. Almost 3%. In a little bit, it'll start going downhill. When we get off the chip seal, you see the camera quiets down. Rattling. I'm probably sitting in a 53.16 or 53.15. Just kind of rolling and not really working too hard. Going downhill here. This is where you can catch your breath, take a drink, keep your eye on the wheel while you do that. Don't take your eye off the wheel in front of you. Let the bottle come to your mouth, but keep your eyes forward. When you're following the wheels, you always got to be alert. They did a good job on this stretch of the road here. Certain sections of it, of course, the one we just came off of, they didn't pave the whole thing. They just did this middle part. But it's nicer than it used to be. They did a good job. We're still going somewhat downhill, so I'm really not pedaling. I'm just sitting in the draft here, getting kind of sucked along. Now I'm starting to pedal. So Laura's keeping the pace steady. Get off that smooth pavement. It's the chip seal again. So in a little bit, Doug is going to come and ask me if we should wait. There is some guy back there that's maybe 200 meters or 200 yards off the back, and he wasn't riding with the original, but I think we found out later that he got to the start at 7:30. Well, we left at 7 this morning, but he was not on the board to know that there had been a change. We had not added him to our group chat. We ended up doing that after the ride on this ride. But Doug saw him and came and asked me. You'll see him come and ask, do we want to wait? So we slowed down. Probably in about 5 kilometers, we'll slow down and wait for him, and he'll catch up. So he must have seen us on, he came out to ride it, and he saw the group and started the chase. What I'm doing is I'm making sure that I'm staying in the draft. You can see my tire. The camera's catching just a little bit of it. I'm about maybe a foot or so off of Laura's wheel. This is what Doug is asking me. Do we want to wait for this guy? He saw the guy back there. He did not start with us originally, but he just happened to be in the area where we turned. And he was trying to catch up, so Doug had seen him. So we're going to slow down.
Just roll slowly. There's somebody catching up.
His name is Alfonso. So now we've added him to the board so he'll be able to keep up with any changes we make. He had gone there for 7:30.
Okay.
He rode with us a few weeks ago, but he was never added. He never gave me his information to add him to the chat. So when we made the change of the start time, he showed up at 7:30, and we're already gone. So he must have just headed towards Taco and headed straight out. So he didn't go through Lake Conroe like we did. So we're waiting for him. So I think when we turned on Mount Pleasant, he just happened to be nearby. As the dog said, I see this guy back there trying to catch up. And if we hadn't slowed down, he wouldn't have caught up. He's going to get here soon. This section of the road, it gets a little more like a washboard. The pavement is all chewed up. I thought they were going to...
Not yet.
I thought they were going to pave it. Somebody said we're here, and I said not here. Okay, so we're here. He's here. That's Doug. Who told? So he said, "Yeah, we got it." So he's on my right. Thanked us for waiting.
Are you at 7:30 at the same spot as a month ago or so?
We'll have a 7.
Oh, 7?
Are you on the group meeting?
No, but I found you French shots, gave me the link to your I read what are you watching, whatever that
I'm gonna need to add you so you can keep up.
Okay.
There's different routes.
So he ended up sending me his information, and I added him after the ride. Because summer is here, we're going to be leaving at 7.
No, I think we stay at 7.
Yeah, Doug asked whether we do 6:30, and I thought, no, I think we stay at 7. Yeah, we stay at 7 because it's just more practical. A lot of I ride to the right, and you'd have to get up like 4:30 in the morning if you were doing 6:30 or something like that. To really get ready and ride up there. I think 7's good. We're back by 10:30, 11. We do 65 to 80 miles, let's say. Usually, that's the range. So 3.5, 4 hours, we're done.
I think I have your phone number, so I'll give you a text so you can add me.
Okay.
Doing this.
Sounds good. All right.
Yeah. So he has been added. He was added Saturday night. So he's on the board. He rode with us once, weeks back. But we never got an opportunity to add it to the chat group. I just sit on the back kind of like the gatekeeper here. I'm not under any kind of pressure. I've been training consistently. But it's just the heat. I'm still getting used to the heat. Somebody's pushing at the front. You see the watts are up. The road is all chewed up, so I stay near the yellow line. It seems to have the better pavement except for this section here. So you gotta read the road. In this situation, nobody's going to be calling out except major hazards. And you got to make sure you have the visibility. That's another reason I'm spread out, so I can see around the riders. So that's the guy in the blue that was added on Saturday night. He's the one that just happened to be within sight of us when we turned into the forest. So he must have come straight through Montgomery. This road that we just arrived at is called Hidden Forest Road. We just left Mount Pleasant Road. The pace is slow, so we're going 2 abreast here. When we get up to 149, we're going to go south, which is left. Take us to Bailey Grove. It was a good turnout today. We had a few people that went straight to taco early in the ride. So you're going to hear me tell them, everybody, we turn and everybody spreads out. This is a highway.
Come on, let's roll.
I'm like,
Single
let's
file.
go. Nobody wants to go to the front.
Go,
No one
guys,
wants to
get in the
pull.
shoulder, let's go. Time out, let's ride.
Like, you know, I have no idea what they're doing. All you had to do was just continue riding, but we have a few people in the group never want to pull. They always want to be sliding to the back.
Pull off. You don't need to play all these games.
They sit there sliding to the back. Just go through and pull off. You don't have to pull, but you got to keep the line moving. You spread out on this highway like it's a private drive. You know, this road is busy. All this time just to get going, because nobody wants to pull. They always want to be sitting on wheels for 50 miles. You probably have that in your group. We got a handful of people that will pull through. You can't have 2 or 3 people pull in a group of 15. Everybody got to get their nose in the wind. I told Laura to get in. Get her off the highway. I don't know what they're doing with turn.
That's it.
Like, right, let's go. What ends up happening is some people ride faster than they can maintain, so they get tired. Well, the people who are behind, if they were struggling, they don't want to go through either. What they don't understand is just go through and do your pace. You don't have to do what the other person was doing, because they couldn't maintain it. That's why they're not there anymore. That's you're taking the lead. So when your group rides steadily, then it's more consistent. I always get people sliding to the back. It's like, just hold your position and ride. I don't worry about it. I just pull through. I just keep going. Early in the ride, I took a lot of pulls. It seemed like nobody wanted to come through, just to kind of keep the group's impetus. You can see I'm not even pedaling. So we need to just ride consistently. That's what keeps your group's average up. This road was too busy for us to turn left and just spread out like it's some little neighborhood. That's why you heard me say what I said, like, come on, let's keep going. This is, busy highway. I don't understand. There's no way you turn up a busy road like this and you spread out like you're in the neighborhood. we're using this road to get to another quiet road. I'm just sitting back here and watching, just kind of roll in my whatever gear I'm in. Now, what's going to happen in a little bit, you'll probably notice that the speeds will change. All of a sudden, we'll go from 25 to 29, that kind of nonsense. Instead of just riding, they keep surging and surging. So you get all this yo-yo effect. So you ride, then you coast or hit the brakes or whatever. I just stay to the right. You can see that's why I'm over here. I don't want to hit my brakes. It's inefficient. They don't know how to ride steadily. They watch road races on TV, don't really understand that this is not a road race, it's a group ride. So whatever you're going to do, make sure you can sustain it. What's the point of changing the speed 3 to 4 miles an hour for 10 seconds? It's not a road race. In a road race, you're not going to drop anybody when you change the speed for 10 seconds. You gotta have to do it longer than that. So a lot of weekend warriors want to act like Tour de France riders. That's the problem. You see the speed has changed. We're doing 45K now. Now come up on them, they slow down again. So I'm not pedaling right now. There's a lot of that. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that I think it's inefficient because if you're doing something that you can't maintain, the group is just yo-yoing as opposed to being like a train where if we're doing 23 or 24, let's just hold that. It's in front of going to 29 and then come back to 22. You know, road race, yeah, you do that kind of stuff enough times, you can snap the elastic, but a group ride, it serves no purpose really. When I ride by myself or if I ride with just a few of my mates, our pace is steady. We just keep moving. There's no slowing down, all that foolishness, except for intersections. We're just moving. More predictable. We're turning on Bailey Grove here. We're going to go west off of 149. As soon as we turn on this road, it's about 2%, I believe. It's at 1.7. It feels, yeah, it's like 2%. So you turn and you feel it. So you got to gear accordingly. 2.2. So the whole time we're going up here. Then it will kind of undulate once we turn right to go west. We're headed south right now. In the southwestern. There used to be a pit bull around this corner that used to chase us. I haven't seen it in a while. So it's very warm. It's 85. It feels like 93, let's say, Fahrenheit. 33, 34 Celsius is what it feels like. So, you know, in a little while, Paulie Longa is going to just slow down, and I know something's up because, you know, he's not used to the heat. He works indoors during the week. He's in an office, so he hasn't been out in the heat, and this is like our very first long ride in the heat. So his heart rate started skyrocketing beyond where the normal range is, so he needed to back the pace off a bit. I can kind of tell. I've ridden with him enough, you know. So he just needed to slow down for a bit. And then once we got the taco, he kind of cooled his core and filled a stocking sock. I think it was like a stocking he tied off, full of ice, and put it on his neck, on his spine. And that helped bring his core temperature down. And after that, he was all right. Once we got the taco, we picked up a few other riders that were not part of the group, that had not started with us. So we ended up splitting in two because the guy, Alfonso, who caught up with us in the forest, his head unit fell off his bike. And the guys at the front did not hear that there was an issue, so the group split up. He said that the connector, you know how you snap your Garmin or whatever you have in, he said the connector was chipped or broken so it would stay in. Hopefully he'll be able to get something done through their warranty. So yeah, this is the reason I like to come Bailey Road. This is like, it's like 2% or so, but you can see the watts, 300, 400. It's all over the place. Now, I'm just kind of sitting in, I'm watching everything, and somebody's at the front is pushing. We're working pretty hard. I'm right at sweet spot. You can look at my shadow and just kind of relax, just ride. I'm probably in a 53, 17 or something like that. 84, 85 is gear. Until the terrain changes, I don't do too much shifting. It changes drastically. Just kind of roll whatever I can. But right around here, I just noticed the Paul was at the front in second position. He just fall, his pace has dropped. And then he's perspiring quite a bit. He always does. But so I asked him if he's okay. He nods his head, but I can tell something's up. So I stay back with him here. There's another guy who will come around and go join the group. I'm not sure why he waited till the gap opened like this. Should have been in the wheels. So I'm going to stay with him. I edited the film. We rode for about probably 5 minutes together. And then when they turned onto 1097, they waited for us. And so once we get out of here, I edited it, cut to it, and you'll see Laura on the highway. Laura was the first one we saw. And then we got back in. So once we got the taco, we got a chance to kind of cool our engines down. So right here, we turned off of Bailey Grove onto 1097. And I see Laura in the distance. And then I see the rest of the group, they're kind of slowed down, kind of like we did for Alfonso. I didn't expect them to stop. I don't like to slow these guys down. But I think Laura just wanted to make sure we're okay. So she probably told them to wait. So that's Laura right up there. So I'm going to ride up and get on her wheel. She's gonna look back and see us. And she's gonna pick up the pace. I just sit on the wheel. So in your group, you always want to make sure, if you're gonna leave somebody behind, make sure they're okay first. Just don't leave people, Make sure they're okay. You never know, especially with the heat that we're experiencing here. Like it says 30°C now, so that's like 85, but it feels warmer than that. And so you always have at least 1 or 2 people together. That's better than to leave somebody out there by themselves and you don't really know what's going on. Let the person say, yeah, I'm okay, you guys go ahead, then that's fine. At the time, I did not know that Paul was overheating until we got the taco, then he told me. But I just knew that his pace had dropped significantly from where he normally rides. So I knew something was up. So the group's right up the road. Laura's going to pull us back in there, and then I think Paul's going to come around. I'm going to just sit on the back. Paul's going to come around and go in the middle or something. They're right here, so I just rolled so I wouldn't have to brake, so I went on the road. I'm gonna drift back to the back once they get going again. Yeah, Paul's I get behind Paul. I think he just got a little hot because he's got the arm sleeves on, and I think he had. We usually wear like these breathable caps to keep the sweat out of our eyes. Because when we got the taco, he took that off, and he got a chance to kind of just cool his cold. So it'll take him a little bit to get used to riding in the heat. So I suggested to him that, hey, you know, you might want to just sneak out even if it's for an hour during the week. Just go out and spin. Just to be outside. I'm gonna go on the road. Somebody hit the brakes up there. So I didn't want to hit my brakes. So I moved on the road. But I knew there was no car coming. I got my mirror, and so I'm always aware, you know, that way I didn't have to brake. Somebody slowed down too much. Road goes up here a little bit, 3% or so. Logan slipping to the back. He's going to stay with us. He just doesn't want to work that hard. Because late in the ride, he told me, he said, I'm one more cramp from stopping. I told him how we're taking it easy. We had already split our group anyway. I told him that we're going to take it easy. We ended up all staying together. Logan hasn't been riding as much. Everybody's busy with other stuff. I think he's been traveling to a business. He's sitting right behind me. So if you watch my wheel, you'll kind of get a feel for what I'm doing. Now I'm on the left here, then I'm going to drift a little to the right there. This is where the best draft is right now, in this direction. We're headed somewhat easterly, kind of like a southeasterly direction. So these roads wind, so depending on what's going on. This is 1097, also known as Bethel. We've exited the forest. We're headed towards Montgomery, downtown Montgomery in Montgomery County, Texas. The city itself is called Montgomery. Darren going. I don't know if he was pulling or not, but he was drifting to the back. I think I heard Logan tell him to go ahead. A lot of debris. So you see where my wheel is, right by the white line. You always constantly have to be alert. Don't depend on people calling things out. You gotta be looking around the riders you follow. I don't like going over little grits and stuff like that. There's other stuff in there that can nick your tire. So this road here, it's up and down, up and down. You get a good workout out here. Between 3 to 5%. I'm not sure why Kenny is sitting on the road there, but I think he's going to get on the shoulder. We don't need to be riding like that. This is a busy road. See how Paul moved to the right? Somebody slowed down. He didn't want to have to hit his brakes. So you got to be able to soft pedal, coast, move your bike. That's what he's doing. It gives you more visibility. It gives you a way out. So if something happens, worst case scenario, you've got a way on the right of the rider. If that rider came to a complete stop, you could go to the right of the rider and not have to slow down abruptly. I'm staying just slightly further back. The road will go up slightly. It's not as steep as the one we just went over. Probably like 2%. It's pretty gradual. So now I'm coming up to them. They seem to be in a rhythm. Then I move to the right because somebody's slowing down again. Now they sped up. So it's not consistent. It's not steady. Let's put it that way. It's not very efficient. So we're coming into the wind. It's blowing from the southeast, meaning it's coming from our right and in our face. So we're having to work in the morning, the wind was behind us. Now we're working into the wind. Sometimes we turn on that road. That's MLK Boulevard, or what do they call it? MLK Drive. But we're going straight to 149 at the corner after about 5 kilometers, about 3 miles. Might be a little less than that. As we go faster, you spread out. Give yourself a little more room. And the road slowed me down there at the grade. You see where it says 0.6 and it's 1 point something? The grade slowed me down. So that's the way you have to ride. You know, there's no point in using your brakes all the time. That's why my pads on my rim brakes, they last a long time. They do too much braking. Most of the time, you're not going fast enough to brake hard, but need to brake hard anyway. Slow down. Especially when you ride solo, it's more predictable. But in the group, you use the terrain spacing where possible. You only brake as a last resort. And sometimes when I know I'm going to brake hard, I spread out. And like you see Paul to the right, I would go right and brake hard. To the rider behind me has a space because he's no longer behind me. When I drift right to brake hard, that rider has a lot of room instead of staying in the line and braking hard. That's the main reason when you're riding with other cyclists, you always have to be alert. Things change quickly. You can relax more when you ride alone. We're going to be turning right. We're approaching on 149. There's a car coming, so Doug slows down. I just stay on the edge of the road here because Doug was slowing down because there was a car coming, so he didn't swing out. But the car slowed down, and I just went ahead and got on the white line here. And the driver just backs off a bit. I think that's him going by here. So because we're going to pick up a lot of speed, at least 30 miles an hour, because this is a slight descent and then we hit a hill. So I'm going to drift. There's no car coming. I don't want to slow down. I'm not even pedaling. And so I just maintain my momentum. They're going to come by and I'm going to slip behind in the same position I was in. Right there. I didn't have to touch my brakes. We're going to be turning left, so we're going to take the road because in about probably 250 meters, we're going to be turning left. There's a light in the distance. There's no car behind us, but this way we don't have to scurry over at the last minute. There's a couple of cars coming. We're going to wait.
Let's go.
Yeah. I'm gonna This is Montgomery, Texas. Downtown Montgomery is about probably 1.5 kilometers south where we're headed before we turn left. We're going to Taco Corner on the outskirts of Montgomery. We ended up stopping like 3 times on this route. Initially, we had planned to stop twice. This is the second stop, but it got so warm and muggy, we stopped at Keenan just to refill our bottles, just, short stop. You have to be able to adapt and be flexible. And there are times you go out and you want to stop, but you don't need to, and then you keep going. But when it's hot like that, you got to have enough stops for everybody. Everybody's different. When there's a doubt, you stop. Get something to drink, whatever. I turn off the power here to just kind of spin to the store. The store is about 1,000 meters up the road. About a kilometer, maybe less. I don't like to just ride at speed to the store and then just stop. I kind of spin my legs down a little bit. But this is Taco Corner, number 1. It's the main stop. Perfectly placed. That driver blinked to let me know it's okay to turn. Now wait for this car to turn behind. This is Taco Corner. We stop here often. So there are riders already here from doing their own rides. And they end up joining our group on the way back. I wasn't aware that I had forgotten the camera was still on, so I don't know how long I left it on. But I think I turned it off as soon as I parked. I like to lean my saddle and my bars, at least 2 parts of my bike touching something. So if somebody bumps it, it doesn't fall easily. So I don't know if I turned the camera off here or not, but yeah, I think I did. So at this point, we have left Taco Corner. We're on Spring Branch Road. We descended the hill. This is the group. This is Alfonso, the guy who caught up to us that we waited for in the forest. He had dropped his head unit, so the group split. And so we're riding back in together. I think there's like 5 or 6 of us here. I had just taken a long pull, and as I pulled off and got to the back, everybody was having challenges with the heat. There's another rider riding with us. I think he's pulling now. I think his name is Adrian. He was having challenges with the heat too. It's just hot. When you're not used to it, you know, body works really hard. I think this is Darren up there. Darren was with the other group, and I think he waited for us, or we caught up to him. Anyway, you hear me tell him to come on. So we can get in together.
Come on, Darren. Come on.
I wanted him to know that we're coming so that he can lift his pace a little bit. And he's going to join us, and we end up riding in together. So the wind is coming from the right and in our face. We're headed east. We're going to go a little more north, then we'll go east again. Adrian's going to pull off the front. You know, everybody's having ill effects from the heat. We end up stopping in a short while at another store because we're close to Keenan here. But anyhow, we're working hard into this wind, and I'm watching the guy in blue, and I'm not sure, you know, some riders will come to the group and they kind of want to ride over their heads, or they're trying to prove something, I don't know. But he ended up just working really hard, and I'm watching him. So you will see me at the end of this film where it ends. I go ahead and relieve him for his own, because I don't want us to wait for anyone. And I'm watching him after Adrian pulls off. This section of this road is very deceiving. It's a false flat, and most of the time this time of year, we're going into the wind. So it's hard. It's at 1 point something, whatever. The wind, we're going to turn right. Adrian is pulling off right there. And I'm going to watch Alfonso's body language here, and that tells me that he's digging. You know, I'm feeling fine. I'm feeling pretty good. So I decide, in a little while, I'm going to just go to the front, and I will just slide to the front on his right because the wind is coming from the right, and just give him shelter. And I don't know if he pulls off and Paul gets on my wheel. I think that's what happens. But basically, I want him off the front because he's riding above himself. Look at his body language. The guy in the blue. he's really digging, and everything's shoulders are moving and all of that. And I'm like, you know, we don't want to be waiting on anybody else. I'm trying to get everybody in out of this heat. And just watch him. He's working really hard. I'm watching him. So I'm going to roll to the right a little bit and just give him shelter, give him my wheel. It's like a cross. It's almost like we're doing an echelon. See, I'm on Paul's left, but the wind's coming from the right. That's how you're supposed to save your energy so you can pull. But he's there too long. He really should be off. I'm watching him, and he's going slower and slower, and he's really working hard. So I'm like, okay, let me go up there and just give him a break. Some riders have the tendency to think that they have to be there the same length of time the last person was there. You don't need to. You got to listen to how you feel. So I don't know what you did this weekend, but this is part of what we did on Saturday. Remember, get your K's in and keep your doctor fired. So right here, I move up because he's really, really digging. And I move up and I just sit on his right to kind of give him shelter. And I think he ends up going back. And then Paul sits on my wheel. So